Okay, really quickly before the chainsaw comes back on. What's missing from this conversation is the fact that I don't know what you're hearing. So when I talk one-to-one with people, I can always say to them, what did you hear in that? And they'll tell me, you're saying this, and I'm just wondering, what you are hearing. And, sometimes when you become aware that your thinking is really mesmerizing when you're low. I was doing it yesterday. My mood state dropped, and I started to think about this YouTube channel, and I was like, oh, I'm not getting any sort of comments, so I feel like I'm in an echo chamber, and this isn't okay. While I'm low, I was telling myself this isn't okay. And it was funny because my daughter said to me, she was just like, Mom, you're just tired, leave it alone. As in, leave your thinking alone. It's fine, just you're tired. I love it when she reminds me. Because, now in this moment, even though nothing's changed and I still don't have any comments, I don't have any thinking around it. It doesn't matter, it feels okay. Because I'm here doing my thing and it feels fine. And so nothing changes on the outside, but my mood has changed. And so I'm seeing it differently. And so you can kind of see everyday examples all the time. But yesterday, I was paying attention to it. It was looking mesmerizing. It was like, give up, stop it, Kate, whatever. And it is mesmerizing, when we're low, it really is. We kind of hook on, it's like Velcro. We Velcro ourselves to all our low-grade thinking when we're low. And when we realize we're doing it, we're just less attached to it, that's all. We can kind of not act on every thought, not bring them all alive. And there is a willingness to stand still. There has to be a willingness to stand still and pay attention to the silence. Because the answers are in the silence, always. But that's not where we look. We look in our thinking because we believe them all. Well, I did. I spent years and years just bringing every thought alive and climbing inside it and acting on it and taking myself, when I was in a low mood, taking myself lower and lower until, there'd be a lot of tears as I created all these problems while I was low. I just felt miserable. Yeah, and now my mood state will drop, but I don't have to take myself into misery about it. I can just be low, and it's fine. But the interesting thing as well, I just wanted to add this on the end before the chainsaw starts up again, was what happens when other people hit a low mood state. Because a lot of people say, when my daughter's low or when my husband's low, it's really hard. I try and bring them out of it. I try and change it because I want them to be happy. And if you just notice what you're doing, you're telling someone else that they need to change. You're telling someone else that it's not okay to be. It's not okay to be in a low mood. It's not okay. And this is what happened to that person I was talking to, who when she hit in a low mood, her whole family would get reactive. Oh, she's in a low mood. Oh, we hate it when she's in a low mood. And oh, here she goes. And there would be a lot of thinking around it. And I was like, and they were like, oh, when she goes in a low mood, we all get affected. We all, we all feel it. And this is just something for you to ponder on, but do you really feel someone else's mood state? I know it looks like that is what's happening. It kind of feels that way. But if you really, really look at it, what's happening is you're feeling your own resistance to their mood. You're feeling your own, maybe you don't feel happy. I mean, you don't feel okay when someone else isn't happy. I'm not okay if my children aren't all happy and buoyant. And then I need to try and change it to make them happy. Or, I'm not okay when they're miserable. And so you outsource your okayness onto their mood. And if you think about it, I don't know what you'll do. You'll see what you do yourself. I mean, that's kind of what I used to do. I felt more comfortable when people around me were happy. And without even realizing, I tried to change their mood. And what would happen is they would take themselves lower because it was kind of like my mood isn't okay. And then they would try and change it. And you take yourselves away from presence, away from being, away from what is, and you go into resistance. You go into try and change it, and And then your thoughts kind of get louder and more mesmerizing, and then you find more evidence as to why they're true and why you should be feeling this way, and all of it just comes alive, and there's more problems and more overwhelm. And it's in that space of doing and trying and should, and that we're telling ourselves a lot of story. And then in this space of being, it all falls away, and it's okay. And what happens is you can be present even when someone else is in a low mood state, even when someone else is kind of, bringing a whole load of negative thoughts alive and feeling them. You can still be present, because you don't need to do anything with someone else's mood state. You don't need to change it. You don't outsource your okayness onto how they're feeling. And that allows you to stay buoyant yourself, to kind of be in the moment yourself. And it is mesmerizing, it's magnetic for other people when there is presence, when there is an okayness and acceptance of what is. Then they feel your acceptance and your love, rather than your judgment and your kind of like, can you change your mood? Because I don't feel okay. When you change your mood, you're making everyone miserable. And all we do is we shine our light on someone else's mood and tell them to change it. And then they go more into their head and they go more into resistance. And then we all get reactive. And it's like, we don't need to do that. It doesn't help. And when you see that, you become more graceful with other people's moods as well. It's like there's more compassion. I love all the sound effects just coming through. There's more compassion and acceptance, that the more we try and change what is, the more people hold on to it, including us. And actually, when we see that we don't need to change it, we don't need to change someone else's mood in order that we can feel okay, then we access this presence, and then someone else gets interested. And someone else doesn't feel judged, and they don't feel that you're trying to change them. And they can kind of, they get attracted to this place of presence. It's powerful. It's way more powerful than we realize. And I'm saying this from someone who used to, I would always be trying to change. If I had one of my children who was being grumpy and miserable, I would try and change it. And I don't anymore. And it does change. It passes. Because I'm not trying to shine my spotlight on it and do anything with it. And anyway, I'm going to leave you in peace again. Bye. Love to know what you're hearing, but at the same time, it's okay in the silence. Bye.